Welcome to Life in the Fast Lane with Matt Tifft and myself, Keith Migra. We're back. How you doing, man? It's been a week. We've had a lot going on. Before we even jump into anything, though, I am super happy. We talked off air today. I do believe it was. It might have been yesterday, but I think this needs to have some attention. I think this needs to be. I think people need to be congratulated. You need to be congratulated. How did your fundraiser turn out?
Yeah, that's right. We talked about it last week. No, thank you for everybody who donated to that. We raised we had over $26,000 in donations
Wow.
and put into this GoFundMe on there. So tens of thousands of dollars going into helping the American Brain Tumor Association, and it's really cool. We have a lot of people that did the deal where they're getting a cool Team Live Fast hat and picture of themselves in the car. And so if you haven't seen it yet, go onto my Twitter. It's my latest post there. Actually, I got to go pin it real quick. Excuse me, but your names are on there. You'll be able to go see it this whole weekend. We'll send you a picture of your name. However, actually, I just pinned it now, so it'll be on the top of my Twitter profile. Um, but anyways, so lots of people who donated $50, $100, 500,000, even more than that we saw. So thank you so
Wow.
much to everybody who did that. Makes a big difference and really special for me. We had hundreds of people who did it, but it really hit me a little bit. We were putting the names on the car with our designer and our sponsor guy Dave, and we're putting the names on the car, and we had a few extras to put on there. And so the deck lid, which is like the trunk of the car, I had some empty spaces on there. So we had like the people who donated $1,000+ went on the hood. And so for my family, we donated $1,000 to the foundation as well. We also matched the donations and stuff on there, but personally I did that as well. Um, but something kind of hit me in there was we put my family and then we put one of our good friends we just lost this year to a brain tumor, Jeff Culloden, who rode on one of our race cars this year,
Wow.
and also on the other side, my step grandmother, Lynn Markham, who passed away many years ago to a brain tumor. So
Wow.
it hit home a little bit because friends and family of mine that will be riding along with us this weekend that I've lost, and really makes you think about it when you have all these people and you're trying to do all you can to put this stuff together logistically and doing all the stuff with it, but then you kind of take a step back and see what really matters.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So when I was doing that, it made me step back and really realize and look at the people who commented and shared their stories, and all the people who, if it wasn't them, they're putting someone else's name who's fighting through a brain tumor. Maybe it's their mom or their daughter, best friend, whoever it was that they lost, or is fighting through one, or has recovered. Whatever it may be, whatever side of the spectrum. The whole point of this is it's such a big disease that not many people talk about, and I think one of the biggest things for me is I believe it's 1 in 27 people or something like that
Wow.
has a brain tumor in the United States, and it's a crazy number, and it's shocking to me that it's not more well funded for research and for grants to go find new treatments. And so I've worked before with the going to DC, trying to get more funding with the WHO and
Sure.
congressmen and women and people like that to try to get more funding for it. But it's still something that you come off of a COVID year where most of their stuff, we're talking about with our own company doing a lot of events right now because it's a big splash back with events right now.
Yeah.
And events for them were killed last year, couldn't do any events, so they took a big hit in donations, which subsequently means big hit for the advancement of treatments and
Sure.
research for those patients. So
Right.
this is a small splash in the ocean of what needs to be done, but hopefully between the story of us raising the money and
Yeah.
then us doing this and showing it on national television, hopefully it brings some eyeballs to our cause there.
No, I'm super happy, and I'm glad I was able to be a part of it in a small way of just being able to share it here and share it on pages, and I'm glad that it went out with you. Now, we were talking off air. I'm like, man, you told me the number, and I'm like, oh my god, dude, that's amazing, that's incredible. And I don't know if you've done fundraisers before like this in the past, but
This is the first one.
for
We've done like maybe a helmet or a fire suit, but this is the
Yeah,
first.
like and see, and that's amazing. Your first one, you raised so much money for such a good cause, and your story, you shared it. You were able to get a lot of publicity for it in a good way, and bring awareness to it. So I'm super happy, man. Congratulations on it. Really, honestly, that was I was very happy to hear the end result from when we were
Yeah.
talking.
No, no, I really appreciate that. But yeah, well, it's been a good week with that.
Yeah,
It's already Thursday, which is kind of crazy. This week has flown by. I
it
don't know
has
about
been.
you.
Oh yeah, dude, it's just it's gone. You know, we at KM Voice, so we did a lot of cool things this week. We got we're bringing in some new podcasts that we're going to be hosting. So stay tuned to the KM Voice Facebook page. If you're not the KM Voice Twitter page, check it out because we got a lot of cool stuff coming. A lot of people needed a second chance at their show, and I think we're able to give that to them. And for doing what we do and what KM Voice has become over the past, just like you said, things have been crazy, but crazy in such a good way where it seems like we grow, we grow, we grow, we grow, we grow, and it's like there is no ceiling. We just keep going.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a lot of cool stuff coming at you, KM Voice. We're gonna be producing a lot of things. We're gonna be doing a lot of events coming at you, especially if you're in the Lorain County area, but it basically worldwide, man. Check it out if you've ever thought you wanted to check out some of the stuff we're going to be doing. Now's your chance to be able to do it. But
Yep.
something interesting did happen this past 2 weeks. For one, we talked about them remaking iCarly, and we're going to
Yeah.
talk about that in a second because did you see what iCarly is now?
I saw the trailer. It's like an adult iCarly, but I
Oh,
haven't
it's
seen.
absolutely in the dark. They're trashed. The one they're like, oh, we need more beer, and he's like keg standing, which is
Did you actually watch
awesome. I mean, heck, that's not.
it? Was it
Of
good?
course. Oh yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. It's a great show.
I just saw a little clip. I didn't see the whole trailer, but yeah, it looks fun.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be so funny. It's gonna be great. But on the flip side of that, Drake Bell was in Cleveland, right here. I don't even think he was far from where we are currently right now, and he got arrested, and then of course he got arrested, whatever, but then pled guilty to the for it's like a fourth-degree felony, man. Like he got hit with a lot. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because so I don't know what happened to Drake, right? Like I thought, everybody thought Drake was gonna the wild one and everything like that, and it turns out he was, because Josh is furthering his movie career, right? I mean, he's got his TV shows, his movie careers. What the heck
Yeah.
has Drake done besides renditions of Fairly Odd Parents on Nickelodeon at the age of like
Yeah. Well, then
34?
he was making music in Mexico because nobody would buy his stuff here.
He was he really making music in Mexico?
Yeah, but he moved to Mexico. I guess he had some tax problem. I don't know what it was, but like he had some problem. He had
Oh.
no, it wasn't tax. It was like some sexual assault allegations. Then he flew down to Mexico to get away from. Was making music down there.
Oh
Back
no.
here. So
Oh.
yeah,
Oh my gosh. So I used
and
to
all we wanted the whole time, you just could have avoided the whole thing if we had a Drake and Josh reboot.
That's what I'm saying. Yes, I believe that. He went downhill after Josh started getting a little more popular. And then, he kind of trickled down, but he had a spiral. But how many times have we seen this happen with these child, especially it's always one or the other. It's never both of them make it. Do you know what I mean? Like what happened to Amanda Bynes? She went bat crazy. You know what I mean? Like she went nuts. And all these, her co-stars made it and everything else. But then you look at like the one crazy Disney star, Hannah Montana, that, Miley Cyrus went, she made it. She was fine, but still ended up going crazy. So I just think it's a
And now she's
Nickelodeon and
back.
Disney thing.
Now it's back. Like she's like the one that went crazy back and then crazy and then back again.
Yes, like she tried to take the Britney Spears theory.
Okay,
And,
I got to talk about that in a second, but go ahead.
well, she tried to take the Britney Spears theory and like use that to go, well, I'm crazy now, I'm not crazy. I'm crazy now, I'm not crazy. I'm crazy now, but I'm not crazy. And like it didn't work. Like Miley Cyrus is always going to be known as the twerking chicken who was doing weird things to a bear dressed up as a referee. Like, dude, she's nuts. I don't care what anybody says. Miley Cyrus is insane.
I will say I do like her new music though.
I
Like it's
haven't heard
actually
any of it. I
it's
like
good. I mean, like the last year or two, her new music is actually very good. Like
really.
I will not lie, I actually really enjoy it because my wife likes it. And I'm like, this is actually really good. Like it's very high quality, like just very good music. But going to the Free Britney thing for me a minute. So
Yeah.
she actually came out yesterday or something. It was this week,
Okay.
and said I had previously said before that I'm fine, but so here's what happened. She said, goodness, previously before I said I'm not fine. However, that I'm fine. However, I am not fine. I found out that my lawyer that was set up in what's her thing called that she set up in?
Oh, yeah, I don't know the exact terminology, but the where the father has the custody of everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So apparently,
I don't remember what
uh,
it's called.
Tyler, look that up while I'm talking about it. So apparently, she never knew that she could petition the entire thing because her lawyer was brought on by the council against her. So the lawyer never told her her rights. So she came out saying, "Listen, I'm not happy. I'm horrendously depressed. I
Oh
want my life
man.
back," which makes sense. She's like, "I'm making the money. I'm doing the stuff. I'm doing a show every night. I'm doing all this stuff." And so this is like because we had a whole show about this a few months ago, and so she finally came out and was like, so the whole Free Britney thing, the documentary we both watched, everything in there was completely true.
I
Completely true.
told you. I told you it was true. And I've
I
had conversations about this before. Like, I didn't think, listen, I haven't gotten a huge taste of the fame or anything like that. But I'm telling you, man, I watched that. I had to. I watched that. And all of a sudden, you start to see that maybe she's not as crazy as they originally thought. Tyler sent it to me. Britney Spears is full. Oh,
the
conservatorship.
conservatory. What is,
Conservatorship.
yes, conservative.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what it was. Conservatorship.
Yeah. What a
Um,
screwed up thing. Like
huh?
what a horrible thing. And so on the hearing, her dad was not present either
How is that possible?
because she's allowed to petition him. He doesn't have to be there.
See,
So
I didn't.
basically,
See, I didn't know that.
he was hiding behind closed doors, being like, just, just hiding at that point.
Right.
To hide away from the whole deal. But yeah, so turns out I mean, again, after watching the documentary, I don't think she's crazy. I feel bad for her.
Yeah,
And like
me too.
that, having what 20 years of your life ripped away because your dad and your sister were jealous of you.
Right. Well, not. But see, and again, I was talking. Yes, I agree with that. Having it taken away. But could you imagine going to the drive-through in an unmarked car, and somebody just happened to recognize you, and within minutes the
500
paparazzi's
people
there?
swarmed with cameras.
Yeah.
I would lose my shit.
Yeah, dude, I would too, and she did, and she wasn't getting any help. And people are like, "Oh no, Britney Spears is crazy." I really don't think she was. And the fact that I'm talking about it is kind of crazy if you think about it, because you never, you don't know what somebody's going through. You definitely don't know. I've learned this through talking with you and Hillis and Wells and everybody else. You have no idea what a famous person actually goes through to give you entertainment. And it's like, okay, these professional athletes get beat up, you get, you're an exact definition of having to sit in a hot car, sweating till you literally are losing weight, and we're not talking a pound, we're talking pounds, to
Yeah.
give people entertainment, and you can't give them 5 minutes to go to a restaurant or go out to eat. And the paparazzi, the media, it's always been the media, and I think the media messed with her so bad that it probably did make her a little insane for a while. But I think it would have made anybody insane. But I think
Yeah.
I don't think she's what
Well,
they
you said
said she was.
that's pop culture, that's politics, that's everything
Oh
now, right?
yeah.
That's absolutely insane how that has actually my wife and I were talking about this yesterday because they're very proud of her, by the way. Her boutique has her first year anniversary this weekend, so
Cool.
congrats to her for in-store space there. And so they're doing a Y2K sort of a theme party to it, and we're talking about it while we're getting some decoration and supplies for it. And it was weird because we are talking how, I mean, Keith, you're more of it than I am, but we are the last generation that will ever grow up without the smartphone. Because I didn't have one until I was 13 or 14.
Yeah.
But thinking about that,
Wow.
that was kind of shocking to me for a second because
Sure.
it was the first time I realized, like, holy crap, this is it's true. Like we are the first ones that, or the last ones that will never not know what's going on in the world. You'll never not know like what the trends are, whatever. We had this conversation at dinner the other night. Like in middle school, you're always geeky, like people in high school geeky or whatever. Now
Sure.
everybody looks like that's on there. Everybody looks like each other, like for trends, guys and girls. Like it's all freakishly the same,
Well, yeah.
And it's very weird because that's a whole generation of like us for I'm a 2000s baby. Like I was born in 96, but so
Sure.
obviously grew up in the 2000s.
Right, right,
And
right.
so I it was weird. It was an eye opening for me because obviously just talking about Britney Spears and all that that was
Yeah.
involved in the time there, but um, it's just weird to me because that was a big shock and wake up call. It's like, whoa, this is really true. Like even my brother and my sister, born in 2000, 2002, they still pretty much grew up with all the smartphone stuff and everything
Yeah.
in there. Going back to media and all that kind of stuff, and they're like, there's a lot of stuff now that everybody goes insane. And I remember this because of quarantine. It was maybe March or April, like when everybody was on the full lockdown, like the 2 months deal, like when we were on the full 2 month lockdown there.
Right.
And we went to a park by us, and it was crazy because it was an 80-degree day, beautiful day outside, and so we went out there and didn't bring our phones, and obviously there's no news or TVs at the park. Got an RC car, got a football, and then just brought like a picnic blanket and stuff like that. And it was so weird because it was, if you didn't know that like a devastating disease was going on in the outside world was going on, you'd have no idea. And
Yeah.
that was so strange to me because if you went home, you went to your phone, you went to TV, everything was blown up and like insane. Like everything is horrendous, and it was, right? But like that was so weird to me looking at buying these decorations and doing these things. It's like if you just slow down and go outside, do whatever now,
Yeah.
people don't do that anymore. So I think it drives to the insanity of our population. And I do it to myself too. But like it's crazy how much we're crazy.
Oh yeah, no, but it's funny you say you grew up in the 2000s. I grew up in the 90s.
I'm
And it's funny to see.
jealous of that, by the way.
Are you really?
Yeah, because you got so think of it. What you're what 88,
87.
87. Okay,
Yeah.
so think of it like you got to grow up during the 90s. So then
Yeah.
by the time you're mature, you got the 2000s of cool trends and things like that. But during that entire time, you have that entire time to grow up without any like crazy electronic changes.
Yeah.
Sure, you have pagers to whatever, but like,
Yeah, but I
and
know
you
what you're saying.
get the internet and laptops come up, whatever. But like, still, nothing was that different, right? Until
No.
we hit like 2010, 2012, then
Yeah.
boom.
Well, yeah, it was the technology boom. The
Right.
technology
So,
bubble. But even just
so that's why. Good.
well, but even just like looking back at like, yeah, you're right. You grew up in the 2000s where you had that technology boom where we didn't, but you can still see the difference. You know what I mean? Like there's still a super big difference between people who grew up in the 90s and people who grew up from, 2000 to 2000, if I guess 10 or 15 I guess would probably be the
Yeah.
cutoff. But from 1990 to 2010, man, you can really see the difference in animation and cartoons,
Oh
the
yeah.
the style of sitcoms. The cancel culture wasn't a thing in the 90s yet. You know, I mean, you did have idiots who said absolute horrendous things and then ended up getting canceled, but cancel culture wasn't there. There wasn't as a divide in our political system as there was. I mean,
Oh, there certainly wasn't one guy that owns a car company that's tweeting about one currency and blowing it up and coming back for
that's
Dogecoin,
that's
Bitcoin.
right. That Yeah, think about
But
that.
think about that. Like literally one guy changing the price of a
Yeah,
like a digital coin
yep.
that doesn't even exist, of a mined coin that doesn't exist, to like be making people millionaires and then
Yep.
bankrupt, then millionaires, then bankrupt. Like that is insane.
It is. It's nuts. It is insane just to hear. To that point, could you imagine, in the 90s, at any point in time, somebody coming up with something called a tweet, and it sending a fake coin to the moon? Like, could you imagine that, or could you imagine some of the stuff we have today with just your? I mean, let's just talk about just graphics for animation. Your animation graphics, the way computers are run now, like in such a short time period, this stuff blew up, and as we keep making advances in technology from the 90s, just from the 90s to 2015, what in the world is 2035 going to look like? Like I can't imagine video games getting any better unless you step into the game and you're there, like you're actually physically there. I
Could
just
you
and I
imagine like going to your tweet thing you're talking about,
Yeah.
if somebody sent a tweet back then, think about this. Think about, how different email was back then,
Oh
right? Or
yeah,
even a page. Think about
electronic mail.
yeah, yeah. But like think about so everybody's on email, right? But
Yeah.
like it's still a newer thing. Like it's still kind of coming up. So think about as a obviously business you had, but like think about if the president sent out an email to
Oh
everybody.
yeah.
Like think about that, then you go, well, wait a minute, Twitter's like that, and so everybody does like whether you're Trump who did everything on Twitter, or
Yeah.
even Biden who does a lot of stuff on Twitter.
Yeah.
You have to have a lot of stuff on social media. That's how it's run, right?
Yep.
But think about if you were a good-looking guy or girl, and right now you got an Instagram, you go get a couple, ambassador deals, that sort of a deal.
Yeah.
Think about back then. I'm going to email this person, hey, can I take a picture on my camera and print it out on my Kodak and print it to you, and then maybe you'll give me $500 for it. Like, what happens today? That's what happens.
No, you're right. It is, and that we were talking about that. Even just if you take the business aspect of what social media has done in the past 10 years, social media basically took any form of advertising that you needed and said, nope, this is the way to do it now. And it's like, and that hurt TV, that hurt radio, that hurt newspaper and everything.
Yeah.
And honestly, places like SiriusXM, they excelled because they knew everything was going per subscription services. And if you look at like SiriusXM and what's the other one? I'm sorry, SiriusXM and is there another one?
Spotify?
What is it?
Well, like for talk show stuff, or like
Yeah,
Pandora?
yeah. Or Pandora. Like if you look at the way now you have it unlimited, you can make a list and you only hit that artist, and it's like having. I don't think anybody in the '90s would have ever thought that.
iTunes. What happened to
iTunes, right? Do you remember iPods? Like I had an iPod Nano when I was growing up, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. But the only problem is I had to spend 16 hours on Napster trying to download it, and if someone called my house while I was downloading, I had to start all over again. Everything, it was bad. I had to start the download at 1:00 in the morning to guarantee that at 6, until 6, no one would call.
Gosh, I remember people in middle school, like their older brothers in college, selling jailbroken iTouches and stuff like that.
See, here's the problem with that. To me, at the time, I didn't have that luxury. I didn't even know what a jailbroke thing you just said. I was like, well, I don't know what that means. So we didn't know. So we're sitting there illegally downloading stuff on Napster, or Kazam was a good one. So we downloaded stuff on, or not Kazam, Kazaa. And we downloaded on Kazaa. And it's like, I remember specifically, I used to get I had like the whole Eminem CD, like it was almost there. It's like 92%, bam, phone rings. And I knew as soon as I heard that phone ring, that whole album was gone. And I sure hope it was worth it, Grandma, because I had to sit there and re-download all of that all over again after being 6 hours through. And like AOL Instant Messenger, like could you imagine when you're typing on AOL Instant Messenger, you used to make those away messages so that everybody could see them, right? Now, can you imagine? Like we never imagined that now you'd push a button and Zoom would be there. Like I sound like an 80-year-old man discovering a pager for the first time, but like. It's nuts. I had typing class on a freaking typewriter, bro.
So I'm turning 25 on Saturday.
Just had to add that in there. Thanks.
Well, it's weird because I feel so young, like when it comes to age and stuff like that, right?
Sure.
But then I compare myself to the way people in the teens talk, even people coming up in racing, and I'm like, the hell does that mean? Like there's like the language they use. Like I have no idea what you're talking about. Like I don't know what you're saying. Like I don't get it. And then like just things that go on. And I'm like,
I don't get it.
I don't get it. I'm old. And they're like, they'll be talking about stuff I don't understand. And I'm like, I guess I crossed that point to where I'm excited about my insurance becoming cheaper. I'm excited about
we become our parents.
Yes.
You're excited. Dude, I was driving to a meeting today. And I'm not even kidding. There was some old guy like planting things in his garden. And as we're driving by Tyler, I'm like, that's a really nice garden. Like he did a really good job. And I'm thinking to myself, like, crap. Did I just say that out loud? Or like I'll be going somewhere and we'll be like, when we were doing stuff for the studio, we're at like Home Depot and I'm passing like, that's a super nice wheelbarrow. Like I could imagine like stupid things. I'm like, oh crap. I'm my parents. Like this is horrible. And you never stop and those progressive commercials, those are real.
So true. Those
Oh
are
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. I have to rethink some of the things I say because I'm like, yeah, yeah, I'm definitely my parents are like, when my kids are jumping, I'm like, if you get hurt, don't come to me with it. Don't, whatever. You go to figure it out. If you get hurt, figure it out. Go to your mom, figure it
Yeah, but
out.
now, so talking about the '90s to now. So before you could say that, now you get child protection services.
That's right. That's right. Well, it's
And
funny
they
because
can call them themselves, and it's okay.
that's right. Well, yes, they can. It's funny because back in the day, man, I'm telling you, and I say back in the see, I'm sounding like my parents. When I was a kid, we didn't have this stuff. We didn't have, we had Game Boys and stuff like that. But you better believe that if I wasn't outside doing something, that Game Boy was never going to be found again because
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to sit in there and play. The first system that I ever played that was officially mine was the Sega Genesis. So you got so you got to remember, like, I'm playing Sonic on the Sega Genesis, and my parents are like, "Oh, your half hour's up. Get out. Go out there. Go out there." Then the Super Nintendo. But I was forced to go out and play, and it sucks that. And this is something I saw a meme the other day, and I'm sure this is for you too. But at one point in time in your childhood, you said goodbye to your friends and never played again outside for the last time, and nobody ever knew that was going to happen. Like, isn't that depressing?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it makes you think, like, damn, really? Because it did happen. Like, one day you're outside, you're in some magical realm, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're in calculus. It sucks.
Yeah. True. Well, okay. So before we go to break, talking about different realms, there's something released by, I believe, the government that you're telling me about.
They're grainy little. So
Explain this to me.
they're
Because-
grainy little rice thing that they said was proof of a UFO, which it probably is a UFO. It's unidentified. It was flying, and it was an object. Yeah, it was a little grainy rice that they had pointing these little arrows to that says UFO, and it was on like they must have took it. I swear this thing was taken on a Polaroid, 500 miles away through a telescope with a lens cap on it. Like, that's how our government decided to take pictures of these things.
So, but why couldn't you share it? You said something about that.
Oh, there was DOD marks on it. There was all these government watermarks all over these things. I'm like, well, I don't want to, because it was so grainy, it didn't make any sense. I'm like, nah, we're not going to share it.
So there was a government thing released with watermarks on it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Would you call it Watergate? Good break.
That was the worst. That was a dad joke.
I know. Another break. Good break.
Welcome back to Life in the Fast Lane with Matt Tifft and myself. You ready to talk, Nixon?
What?
You don't know. Tell me you know who Nixon is.
I do, but I missed what you said in front of it.
I said, you ready to talk, Nixon?
Oh, I gotcha.
I
Yeah.
wanted to do a bad dad joke.
I just watched a Futurama episode where Richard Nixon tried to become president again.
I'm president of the
Well,
world.
the world.
Dude, that is the best one ever. What's his bodyguard's name? His body. Oh God, not Hugo. I
Because at
can't.
first he steals Bender's body, but
Yeah, he does. Yeah. Well, yeah. Bender made a deal. He made a deal with the devil, and Nixon ended up getting it. I love Futurama, man. If you talk
oh,
top 10 adult cartoons, it is Bob's Burgers, Futurama, Rick and Morty.
we're actually watching it all the way through, so we're like midway through season 2, which is the Nixon episode.
Well, you do know that seasons 3 and 4 aren't really episodes, right? They're movies.
Really?
So they got canceled. When they got canceled, basically what they did was they started making, everybody was calling for it, and Fox was refusing to put it back on. So what happened was they said, fine, we don't need Fox. They started making movies. So there's like part 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think it's season 3 or 4. I can't remember exactly what it is, but those aren't actual episodes. Then they get brought back, and you'll know exactly what episode I'm talking about when you reach it, when they get actually brought back to Fox. Then they get canceled again, and they get sent to Comedy Central. And Comedy Central picked them up, and then that's when the show was absolutely. I mean, the show was hilarious all the way through, period. But once it reaches Comedy Central level, you're like, yep, this is what it was supposed to be. But the ending of Futurama, I will tell you this, is probably one of the most emotional cartoon endings I've ever seen. And
Really?
there's parts in Futurama where there's episodes where to this I still don't watch them. Because they're so emotional. I'm like, I'm not watching this. Actually, the episode is called Jurassic Bark. Watch the episode Jurassic Bark. When you get to that episode, you're going to call me and be like, son of a bitch, this is bad. Like, not bad as in, like, bad quality, but it's bad as in, like, you're trying not to cry as you're watching an adult cartoon. It's crazy.
It's a funny show, but it's a comedy show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, so switching gears a little bit. We got to talk some basketball because it is the middle of the NBA playoffs. I know you don't like it.
I haven't watched a single game. I don't even know who's in it, dude.
So I can tell you that the Lakers are out.
Makes me happy.
And then the Brooklyn Nets are out, which makes me very happy. Very, very happy. They didn't make it out of round 1 either. So basically that means Kyrie Irving is out, LeBron James is out, Kevin Durant is out. Everybody we don't like is out. I don't really care about Golden State because they're good no matter what, but I'm very happy about that because they can all go cry at me a river. But there's some big time drama going on right now. So Scottie Pippen. Yeah, my boy. So apparently Kevin Durant was absolutely exhausted at the end of the Nets game, and so Scottie Pippen had some things to say about it. So I'm just going to go on record here. I hate Kevin Durant, just like you hate LeBron James.
Sure.
I don't like him. I don't like the way he plays. He's too good. I don't like him. Again, I just
He's
don't like him.
too good?
But the way he plays pisses me off. I don't know. He's so big and lanky. He's like 7 feet tall. And he's like a 12-foot wingspan. He makes every shot, and it makes me mad. Like, he should have some weakness. And apparently, his weakness here is stamina. So I'll get into that.
Stamina?
But apparently with this, yeah.
What a good roast. His weakness is stamina.
Here we go. So Scottie Pippen, this is him on the difference between LeBron James and Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm,
Okay, here we go. Mm-hmm. KD, as great as his offense was, now he'd score like 40, 45 points a night, like ridiculous. Okay? But he's also got Kyrie Irving and James Harden on the same team. Like, this is, again, another super team. Okay?
Right.
So as great as his offense was, it turned out to be his worst enemy because he didn't know how to play team basketball. I've always agreed with that. At Oklahoma City, he did the same thing. Again, don't like the guy. Continuing. He kept trying to go punch for punch. Have you ever seen LeBron take a shot like that? He ain't going to take that shot. He's going to be smarter. He's going to force a double team on him. Wow. That's what KD wasn't able to do. I agree with that. KD can score better than LeBron, but has he surpassed LeBron? No. He tried to beat Milwaukee instead of utilizing his team. You see what I'm saying? LeBron would have figured out how to beat them and wouldn't have been exhausted, and he may not have taken the last shot. LeBron ain't KD, and KD ain't LeBron. So
Hmm.
that was his quote on there, which I agree with because
Well,
Kevin
me too.
Durant, if you watch his style of play, he is shot, 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 shot.
Sure.
But then on the same team, you have Kyrie Irving. We know from the Cavs that he can hit a last second buzzer beater.
Yeah.
We know James Harden will score 50 or 60 points if he wants to. So you have two guys in there
Right.
that are absolutely explosive players. So basically, he's saying Kevin Durant was worn out, should have passed the ball, forced a double team on him, and passed it to somebody else. And I've seen LeBron James do that. He's absolutely correct.
Well,
Now,
LeBron James doesn't get worn out because he almost gets poked in the eye and sits on the court for 3 hours on the ground flopping like a fish. So I get it. I
I
wouldn't
think
be
we're
wore out
talking about
either.
more. Well, I agree, but this is more prime LeBron.
Oh, okay, I got you. So they're saying,
But
you take each
even
one in their prime and
yeah. So this is KD's prime. Like we're talking about, like LeBron carrying them to the Spurs, like the 2016 Finals. LeBron, like that LeBron, not now LeBron. So not 50-year-old LeBron, not Space Jam LeBron.
not Space Jam LeBron. See,
So um, somebody said, but if Kevin Durant would have hit that three at the end, then you guys wouldn't be having this conversation, then, right? So Kevin Durant actually got
fair enough.
involved in the conversation on Twitter. This is how he has to defend himself on Twitter. This is when you know that you're in trouble as an athlete. So he said, so Kevin Durant says he's going against Scottie Pippen. I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure a lot more people know Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen than Kevin Durant, but this is an interesting point. He said, didn't the great Scottie Pippen refuse to go in the game for the last second shot because he was in his feelings because his coach drew up the play for a better shooter, aka Michael Jordan?
Wow.
You
Wow. So so shots fired.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
but I watched The Last Dance. Did you watch that documentary?
I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes. I
Right.
never watched the rest. I shouldn't.
Well, the only thing is you missed the part that everybody knows about. He won. So I mean, if you look
Yeah,
at
not really one.
right, but that's what I mean. That's what the last episodes were about. But
Like
if
who
you,
won? Michael Jordan.
I still think that prime Michael Jordan beats prime LeBron James. I believe it
Yeah.
because it has nothing to do with skill. It has everything to do with heart and determination. James doesn't have. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if you're a Lakers fan. I don't care if you're a Cavs fan. This is my personal opinion. And if you think I'm wrong, that's fine. LeBron James does not have the same heart that Michael Jordan does.
Yeah, I think at one time in his career he did, and that was back with the 2000 before he went to Miami. I feel like if the Cavs would have given him a player to keep him in Cleveland, I believe he would have held that through his career because he had it. You got to admit, like the Orlando Magic series and like 09, 2010, those series in there. He carried that team to the finals with Boobie Gibson and Delonte West. Like he
Oh
was,
yeah.
but after he went to Miami, no, it was gone.
No, and I agree with you on that. I just think that I think he was gonna leave either way. I don't think it mattered if we were gonna give him anybody or we didn't. I just
I don't
don't think it
disagree.
mattered.
I don't
Do you
disagree.
think it did?
So I think the question here is, so Scottie Pippen is saying, well, Kevin Durant, sorry, you're not the player of the generation because he is somebody who rivals LeBron James when it comes to size, when it comes to scoring, rebounds, assists. Like he is another player that's very similar to position wise,
Right.
controlling the ball, just like LeBron James. So Scottie Pippen, obviously we all know one of the greatest of all time,
Yeah.
is saying, "Hey, you're not LeBron." And the conversation has always been, is it LeBron or is it Michael Jordan? And then there's Kobe Bryant somewhere in there too.
Right.
But then Scottie Pippen saying, "Well, you're not even LeBron." Then Kevin Durant saying, "Well, Scottie, I remember you being, basically crying little baby on the court or on the bench because you wouldn't go on the court because somebody called to play for Michael Jordan and you didn't want to go in there." And that's
I mean,
so
that's what I mean. He's got a point. And the thing is, and people are like, oh, you're from Cleveland. The only reason you think LeBron James isn't good is because he left. No, I still think to this day, LeBron James is the best basketball player as of, now. Like, of his era, he is. He is the
modern
best.
era, yeah.
He is the best basketball player. Just because I don't like the guy doesn't mean I don't think he has skill. Absolutely, he has skill. You know what I mean? I just think I think Michael Jordan had more, and Michael Jordan was cocky. Michael Jordan was all these things that LeBron James are, right? I mean, he's all those things. I
Oh yeah.
just believe that Michael Jordan had that drive to say, I'm going to take, and did he stay with the team the same time? Yes. Did it leave a sour taste in my mouth that LeBron James went ring chasing? Yeah. I'm from Cleveland. Yes. I'd be lying to you if I said it didn't leave a sour taste in
But
my
that's not
mouth.
true though. Michael Jordan went to play baseball, then came back and played with the Washington Wizards.
That was at the end of his career, though. And him going to play baseball was asinine. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. But Terry Francona from the Indians was the one that coached Michael Jordan. So the manager of the Indians currently right now, Tito Francona, was the one that went and actually coached Jordan and said that Jordan was a great prospect, but he didn't have the it factor. Listen, when you jump sports like that, very few can do that. Deion Sanders,
Yeah.
very few can do that and do it well. And Michael Jordan put all of his time and energy into playing basketball and being the best at that sport. Why he
Correct.
went? Because his dad liked basketball, baseball more than basketball was one theory. He wanted to. He was getting bored being the best. He thought he could be the best at something else, and that's that mentality that Michael Jordan has. Was if he's
Yeah.
gonna touch something, I want to be the best. I don't think LeBron James has
A
that.
different sport. Like, there's nothing wrong with him trying a different sport.
No,
Like,
not at all.
but still, like, okay, Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, like them fighting in boxing was
Yep,
cool. I wish Floyd Mayweather would come and go fight,
MMA, right?
but it would never happen. But
No.
still, I think that's cool that one was saying, "Hey, I'm the best in
Yeah.
MMA. Let me go come over here." Like, I
Oh yeah.
respect that about people who go and try that stuff. Just like in racing, I respect somebody like Juan Pablo Montoya, Tony Stewart, who can go from Formula One, IndyCar, go into NASCAR, go to dirt racing, and are successful in all of them. You do that, you are one hell of a driver.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is we kind of, I guess we hit on it a couple times in a couple different ways. There's nothing wrong with athletes going to different sports and trying new things once they know they're at their top of their game in the other sport. Like unless you're abandoning players and teammates and something like that, I don't believe Michael Jordan abandoned anybody when he went to go play baseball for Chicago. I don't think that happened.
He's still Michael Jordan, right? He's still the GOAT.
Right, yeah. So I don't think he really abandoned anybody. But what I do have a little bit of a problem with is he did. I think when he went to go play for the Wizards, that bothered me a little bit. And then when he bought into the Wizards, that bothered me. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's the Hornets.
Or the Hornets. I'm sorry, that's what it was. The Hornets.
And they suck.
Well, yeah. See, and that bothered. Just like A-Rod going to buy, and I hate A-Rod. I despise this guy. I hate every time he comes on the TV. I think he's a horrible commentator. And I guess it's because
You know
he's
what we should do for a Christmas party for KM Voice? If we have like something cool going on, we should have like a pin the tail on the A-Rod thing.
yes, that's happening. We are doing that
If
absolutely.
there's one guy that could be like their spirit animal is an ass, it's A-Rod.
It's A-Rod, absolutely. Well, that's the thing. I took that as an ass thing to do when you go and buy part of the Mets. Like, dude, you are.
for the Yankees.
Well, I know that's what I mean. Like, I don't understand.
Like if he bought the Kansas City Royals, okay.
Right, right. Yes, okay.
Buying part of into the Fenway Group, okay.
Yeah.
Like so stupid, but like and from a sports allegiance thing, but we know he's never had that. So
Right,
okay.
right.
But A-Rod into the Mets, like, come
Dude,
on.
and I wasn't mad.
Especially
No,
if Jeter did that, like if Jeter did that,
Oh,
people would lose their minds.
God. Well, when Jeter bought into the Rays, nobody
Yeah.
said anything. There was no issues there because it's
there's no competition.
no
There's-
competition. It's different.
Yeah.
But you're telling me you're gonna take that'd be like going from and again the rivalry between Cincinnati and Cleveland is not the rival between the Mets and the Yankees, but it's damn close. But like if
Yeah.
you look at the rival between the Reds and the Indians, it's nowhere near Yankees and Mets, and you go out there and you buy part of the Mets. I mean, come on, what a sleazeball thing to do! Like that made me so mad. That made me hate him even worse, right? And then I felt like because he did that, he shouldn't be allowed to be a commentator. You're either an owner or you're a commentator. Pick one. Commentating, fine, whatever. Don't own it. But if you're gonna own it, I don't think you should be allowed to be a commentator. I just don't. It makes me appreciate Joe Buck.
I agree. All right. We're going to do a little fire round before we end today's show.
Yeah.
All right. So this has been a thing on Twitter. Is it soda or is it pop?
It's pop.
Obviously, it's pop.
Yeah.
Down here, people are like, what? Like, oh my God, Pepsi.
It's Pepsi.
And they're like, I'll be like, can I get a pop? And they're like, huh?
Yeah, that's
Like-
what I don't think I'll ever I was down in Arkansas and I said I want a pop, and the lady looked at me like, "You want me to punch you?" No, like I want a pop, and like what? I'll take a Coke. All right, cool. Like the heavy debate on pop versus soda is so crazy to me because when me and Tyler owned the restaurant, we had this lady come in and she's like, "Can I get a Coke?" And I'm like, "We don't have Coke. We have Pepsi products." She's like, "Yeah, I take a Coke." And I'm like, "Huh? I just told you we have Pepsi products." She's like, yeah, yeah, exactly. That's fine. I'll take a Coke." And I'm like,
That's a deep South Alabama Georgian thing.
it is. Yeah, it is.
So like
Oh,
Fanta is orange Coke. Can I get an orange Coke?
that's an orange Coke.
Mm-hmm.
I see that just blows my mind. Just the difference. We're the United States. I get it, but just the fact that there's a difference between Ohio and Texas, that big of a difference is funny to me.
Oh yeah. All right. So I was at the Indians game. I'm gonna get the Indians at the very last segment of our show. Regular mustard or stadium mustard?
Stadium mustard by far, bar
Yes.
none.
Burton's stadium mustard. I have that every time I run out. I have it at my house all the time. But every time I run out, I go to Ohio. I always buy the stadium mustard. So love that
You
stuff.
have to. You absolutely have to. Stadium mustard. I don't care if you're grilling the dog on at your home grill. You need stadium mustard.
Yeah.
I don't
All right.
I don't like yellow mustard.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's officially summer now, so still baseball theme. What are you putting on your hot dog at a baseball game?
Oh man. So you're definitely putting stadium mustard. You're gonna
Yep.
try to put the onions and see. I like bratwurst though. Like bratwurst at a ballpark are absolutely 100% amazing. You can't.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like the onions, the green peppers, the just
Okay.
soak
So
it in stadium mustard.
you like fully loaded.
Oh yeah, fully loaded everything. 'Cause I'm not a picky eater, so I love vegetables. And if you fry the vegetables in butter and grease, I love them even more. So
Okay.
slather that on.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's see. All right. Baseball stuff. Cracker Jacks or peanuts?
Oh, definitely peanuts.
Thank you. Agree with
Definitely
that.
peanuts.
All right. Baseball and beer. You doing Miller Lite or Bud Light?
Oh, jeez. Bud Light.
Okay. What else? Baseball. Day games or night games?
Oh, definitely night games. Night games are the best because you know you're gonna. You know for a fact, especially when you're a kid, you know for a fact you're missing the next day of school. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's happening, and you know for a fact it's that summer air underneath the lights. It's a different kind of night. I can't explain it. It's a different kind of night.
It's the smell. I'm totally with you.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right. Dollar Dog Night or fireworks night?
Oh God, dollar dog night. Absolutely dollar dog
How
night.
about 2 weeks ago when they did both?
Yeah, dude, that's like that heads exploded. Heads exploded when that happened.
All right. The hot dog races. Ketchup, mustard, or onion. Who do you pick at the ballpark when they run around?
Got to be
at Progressive
ketchup.
Field?
Got to be. It's
Oh,
got to
yeah,
be
go
ketchup because it's got it's got to be
No,
ketchup.
mustard.
No, because
Mustard.
it's not stadium mustard. It's yellow mustard for some
It's
reason.
still fine. It's still fine.
It's his cousin. We're fine.
Yes. They're related.
Like,
They didn't have one to create the other.
that's right. That's true. That's true.
Ketchup's out of the mix. I still put them on there with them. They combine, but they're not bloodlines. So it's okay.
They're not bloodline.
Not incest on a hot dog. It's okay.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Hot dog or cheeseburger at a baseball game?
Oh, 100% hot dog. I could have a cheeseburger anywhere. You give me a.
Do you find a problem with people who get cheeseburgers at a baseball game?
I do. Honestly, like I do. I really do. It's like it's the same people who don't sleep with a fan on. I find that awkwardly annoying. Like if you don't sleep with a fan on, I think there's something
I
wrong
agree
with you.
that. I agree with that.
If
So I can get a cheeseburger and hot dog anytime, but my dad
Right.
always made fun of me for ketchup on a hot dog. He said that's un-American. I'm like, whatever, don't care.
I mean, I kind of agree with them. When you're sitting there and you're in the ballpark, man, you've got one option for food: peanuts, and for a snack, for your main course, hot
No,
dog.
I'm just saying on the hot dog, ketchup. I do ketchup and mustard.
Oh, see, I can't do that. I do just stadium mustard. I can't. I don't want to taint the good flavor of the stadium mustard with a bleeding tomato. I can't do
I'll
that.
actually do 2 hot dogs, one with ketchup and yellow, and one with ketchup and stadium.
Oh, so okay, so you're not you're trying to bring in both worlds.
Yeah.
You at least do you do the first one so everybody can see it, and then you hide the second one so that way it's the guilty pleasure.
Yeah. All right. So last thing, I was at the Indians game a couple weeks ago. They're 2.5 games back of the White Sox for the AL Central lead. Better than I thought they'd be. They're playing the Twins, I believe.
Yes.
So give us the baseball report, and before we get out of here.
We got to do so. I was listening to the pregame show, obviously, and the manager thing. For what's going on in pitching, you got Bieber. We've got the bullpen, right? We've always had the bullpen. Our starting pitching is a little shaky, but the problem is we don't have defense. We don't have bats. With Reyes going down, there was an issue. He's coming back, but Naylor stepped up. I mean, everybody, Rosario. It's amazing to see what's happening with these super young players. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if you can't say one positive thing about this team, then you're just a complainer, because this team should not be right. Well, this team should not be where they are right now. And if you can't recognize that and see that we're having some fun baseball with this team, then you're not a baseball fan. You're just you're just a fair weathered fan who thought we were going to win another World Series, and that's not what this year was supposed to be about. And the fact that we're where we are this year, just be happy with it. Turn the TV on, listen to Hammy, whatever, and take the kids down, whatever. Just enjoy it, because we should be way under 500, and we're 10 games over.
Almost at the AL Central lead.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Again, it's a miracle. It's Cleveland.
Almost
it's what
like
happens. Yeah. Yes. We should not be where we are right now. So taking on the Twins is going to be big. We got to win these games. We have to make sure Chicago starts to lose, but we got to start capitalizing on mistakes, and that's what the Indians have to understand. And these young batters are starting to get some veteran influence from Reyes, from Jose Ramirez, and you're starting to see both of them before he got injured really pick up, and Ramirez picked up like I always thought he would. So it's about this time of year where Ramirez says, hey, let's do it. So that's the Indians Beat Report. KM Voice, Keith Migra.
Yeah, that's right. Well, hopefully, your friend, can come on the show for maybe one of the shows here coming up, and she can give us a little insight to what it's been like at the ballpark. And other than that, I guess we'll see you guys next week. In the meantime, follow at Keith Miger1, at Matt_Tifft. We are racing this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Weird doubleheader weekend for us. That never happens, but it's happening this weekend. And so you guys have a great weekend. We'll be talking to you soon. Make sure you share this the show. Follow it on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, wherever you get your podcast.
Yep.
Give it a review, all that stuff. And that's about it.
Perfect. We'll see you guys next week.